responsibility so that we can start opening up the pineal gland that has been suppressed by our controllers, correct?
Absolutely. And it's important to know one thing, because what we've been taught and what's been marketed for so long is supplement, eat right, exercise, lifestyle, right? It's addition. The key is actually addition by subtraction. The first thing you have to do, which is why she made Clean Slate, is to remove, right? There's nothing that you can add that is going to decalcify your pineal gland because it's calcified with fluoride. So you have to remove the fluoride. You've got to remove the mercury, the lead, the aluminum. People are now familiar with graphene. You need to remove viral particles and viral fragments. Kind of important right now. This is something that does all of that. So the first thing, the foundation, is to remove. And by starting to remove passively, slowly, the rest of your body starts to come in line. And then when you start to add the other foundational components, like Restore is designed to, bring that leaky gut back together. It's designed to kill off the mold and the fungus, because that's what's killing people right now. People don't have respiratory issues because of a virus. People have respiratory issues because your immune system drops that causes a proliferation of mold and fungus, and it explodes in you. It explodes in your lungs. It explodes in your gut. And if you're immune compromised, or if you have multiple comorbidities, it will kill you. We want to prevent that as much as possible. So you have to have these foundational components. As you start to fix the gut, then you need to fix the connection between the gut and the brain, the vagus nerve connection, which is neurotransmission. And that's where Zero In is really important, because it feeds your gut, which is where 95% of those neurotransmitters are produced, the ability to produce more serotonin and dopamine naturally. When you have those, you function at a level that is absolutely amazing. We have elite athletes, world record holding athletes, that in a clinical case study, the top outdoor distance swimmer in the world saw 40% improvement in his reaction time. That is absurd. I was a sprinter in college. If you can improve your reaction time by 10%, you're untouchable if you're already elite. 40% is absolutely ridiculous. And so being able to see that from an elite standpoint, and knowing that you can translate that on down from a baby in aspects of using Clean Slate from a developmental standpoint, but as you age, adding these other components, it's like nothing we've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier that we have a negative antenna that attracts the bad guys or the bad systems, frequencies. How do we turn into a positive antenna? So this goes back to your key point. When we talk about the pineal gland, right? The pineal gland is the light center of the brain. So when you look at that, you have to understand both components. The light center being one, it's what controls your circadian rhythm. It's what converts light to dark when you're supposed to sleep. Your pineal gland is what converts serotonin into melatonin. And because they've done such a great job of calcifying this over the last 1,000 years and multiple generations, right? The calcification of the pineal gland disconnects our ability to get restful sleep. But the pineal gland is also the light center of the brain when it comes to our spirituality. It is our primary antenna to our source. And you can hear Sasha Stone talk about this. Simon Parks just did an interview with Christina, and he did a great job of talking about it. If you've done any research into the pineal gland, you understand that is our primary antenna. So what they've done is they figured out how to calcify that, how to disconnect the antenna, and then they loaded us with what they call the soft metals: mercury, cadmium, arsenic, lead, aluminum, cesium, strontium, gadolinium. You can go down the list. But lead, aluminum, and mercury are all neurotoxins. They love to get stored in the brain and the central nervous system. And if you remember, if you're old enough, that if you had a television back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, and you had a house, you had an antenna on your house to receive signals. You have an antenna on your car to receive frequencies. It's aluminum. They resonate. They receive signals. They've loaded us through multiple generations, through mothers into babies, and then whether it's from getting injected with things because you have to have your shots, right, as a baby and going through. And they've used thimerosal, which is mercury. They've used aluminum.
as adjuvants to put in there just to load us up a little bit. So they load us with those antennas. But you have to understand heavy metals. They're neurotoxins. Mercury is the worst neurotoxin known to man. Second most deadly chemical known to man, besides dioxin. If you remove the radioactive isotopes, mercury is the second most deadly chemical known. But they've been loading us with it forever. So mercury is a +3 in charge, right? So you have to understand how evil this stuff is. And it's a neurotoxin, so it's positively charged. What do positively charged things like to hold on to? Negative things, negative emotion, trauma, all of the things that we're not supposed to naturally hold on to. These things grasp onto, they hold on to them. And then as they're sending other frequencies, whether it's through antennas, if it's through 5G, if it's through radio frequencies, those things start to cause issue because our cells start to resonate with things that we're not made to resonate with. If you don't have an antenna on your car and you're trying to listen to an FM radio station or an AM radio station, if you don't have the antenna, you can't receive the signal. We're made that way, the same way. If you don't have the negative antennas in your system, you won't receive the signals. If you decalcify your primary antenna, you're going to start receiving those signals, which allows you to be more protective over the negative.